Hello. Welcome to stream. I did a thing. Last weekend and I want to talk about it. Hi. It's been a while, honestly. This is gonna mostly be a kind of a just chatting stream, but also I want to show off this thing I made last weekend. I want to kind of talk about why I made this, and I don't know, just kind of talk about just like updates relating to the main game that I'm making, and just random stuff like that. But yeah, I made this. So last weekend I participated in a game jam that lasted 48 hours. This was submitted a little late. I took about an extra 12 hours because I worked that night and I still wasn't finished, and I came back and I, made the finishing touches, stuff I literally had to do in order to make the game playable. But yeah, after that, I took a little bit of time, mostly just yesterday, really, to make some adjustments to like some of the textures and just to make it look a little bit better, like after the jam, ended. But yeah, I'm really glad I made this because I wanted to. So here's where I'm at right now with the current game that I'm working on, and kind of the whole reason why I wanted to do a game jam in the first place. My goal for this year, as I've said many times before, was to get started on making the different worlds, because last year I got a main general idea of what I wanted the gameplay to be. I knew what I wanted my game to be. I wanted it to be a like action adventure, like real-time RPG, sort of action hack and slash kind of thing, where the point is you control a third-person character that can swing a sword and can defeat enemies in real time. And I basically got that locked down. He could swing a sword, he could do combos, he could do the quick attacks. I got that all locked and loaded. So I'm like, all right, I have all these flowing ideas for what I want the theming of the worlds to be. And I never really had that much experience doing world design. The whole Light of the World project was literally so that I could learn this engine. Like, it was my excuse to be like, all right, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna learn everything there is to know about the process of game design, even if it's being taken in a slightly different way. Point is, let's see, that would be 2023. I just kind of went in and was like, all right, I need to gain a general understanding of this software, just like a general knowledge of like what I need to be doing. So I was kind of hopping back and forth between character design and putting them in the gameplay, getting the coding locked and loaded, figuring out what I was supposed to do there, getting the general gameplay locked and loaded. And this year I'm like, all right, since that's basically like, there's no advanced gameplay mechanics yet. I have some unique ideas for what I want the more detailed oriented gameplay to be, but I didn't want to focus on that because I'm like, okay, I have knowledge of how the coding works. I know generally what I need to do, so I want to shift focus. I'm like, all right, I want to work on the worlds next because I almost had zero experience in world / level design / like, I don't know, set dressing, and I wanted to gain some knowledge and experience on that. So I made that my goal for this year, to focus on the worlds. And I gotta say, at this point, I feel like I'm very confident that I was able to, I want to say especially with Jimmy's World and the Storybook Fantasy, I was able to understand the process that goes into designing a world and what needs to be done to place assets in a scene, how to create those assets, how, texturing works for larger scale objects, and basically stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that's good. And I wanted to basically lay down the general foundation of each of the 4 worlds, just so I have something to work off of when I go back and focus on the more specific and unique gameplay mechanics. So that's why I'm glad that I was able to get as far as I did in that. Now, I didn't really get a lot done with the 4th world. I did make a really cool building generator, which I will probably show off in a future stream, but I wanted to, so each world I'm like, all right, I'm going to dedicate this world to learning something new about world design. So the first world was just like a general understanding of like, all right, how do landscapes work, how do like making assets and putting them in a level work. Also, hi Wiljo, how you doing? I'll get to showing off what I'm doing, what's on the screen here in just a second. I'm just talking about basically where I'm at when it comes to my main game that I'm working on. This is a completely separate game that I made for a game jam, which I'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, basically, I wanted to focus on learning something new for each world that I made. So the first world, like I was saying, was just like a general understanding of the idea. When I was working on the storybook fantasy, I wanted to focus on how to do more of like a stylized / artistic like themed world. So having an art style in mind and portraying it and putting it onto the scene. Yes, the jam is over. The jam lasted last weekend. It started on April 5th and lasted for 48 hours. So this is the product of what came out of last weekend, plus like a couple things here and there that I worked on throughout last week. But yeah, I'll get into all that. When I worked on the Beast Turf, it was more of like I wanted to gain knowledge of how to do more natural looking like architecture. So like, modeling cliff faces and, having like texturing them to look natural and like, texture painting and, asset painting, like putting rocks and stuff down and like foliage stuff and just kind of getting a general knowledge of what that landscape looks like. And then the Destroyed City, the 4th world, which I have basically done mostly off stream. I wanted to take the assets that I made and make them, how do I put this? Like, I wanted to generate them in Blender rather than having a blueprint that generates them in the game, so that I could take the generated assets I made in Blender and just put them directly into the game instead of having the game take, plenty of resources to generate these things that it doesn't really need to. So the point is, that's what I wanted to get out of making the worlds for my game, even if I don't have the gameplay locked and loaded yet. I have a general idea of what I want the gameplay to be, so I was confident enough to be able to move on and try making some of the worlds. But now that I'm confident that I can do that, the worlds don't look great as far as like what they are right now, but that's fine. That's not the point. I just wanted to learn generally how I wanted to go about doing that. So about this game jam, let's talk about this now. I was like, all right, I have a general knowledge of most things I think I'm going to need to know when it comes to making a game. And I'm like, I kind of hated being like, all right, I'm kind of a game developer, but I haven't really made a game yet. And I'm like, I want to try and see if I could take the knowledge of what I have and put them towards something so that I can look back and be like, all right, this is a thing I made. I don't have to put all of my eggs into the one basket of my main game. I could sort of take my knowledge and put them towards like other things, so I can practice putting the knowledge I have to use. So that's why I joined a game jam. Making a plot point the world stolen because he threw an ugly curse on him. Yeah, the darkness made it so that the worlds look like an amateur made them. Ooh, it's spooky and plot related. But yeah, I wanted to take the knowledge that I gained from making the game that I made up until now and put it towards something like a game jam. I joined, I guess I can pull up the jam page here. Jams, Michael Jam 11. Yeah, so this is the jam that I joined. It was called Micro Jam 11. The theme was teleportation, and it had a prerequisite of slow motion. So basically, the theme was announced. This is a bi-weekly jam, so this theme was announced as soon as the previous jam was over, I assume. And the prerequisite was only announced when the jam started. So you could kind of get a general idea of what you wanted your game to be about, but the prerequisite made it so that you had to somehow find a way to include that when the jam started. It was rated by, other people within the jam. There's rules and stuff. But yeah, this is the jam I joined, and I made this. The last game I just finished playing was Half-Life 1. So I'm like, I kind of wanted to make it themed around like Half-Life 1. I wanted that like low quality, low poly style of like those old like PC games like Quake, Half-Life, stuff like that. Looks awesome. Thank you, Will Joe. I'm sure you're able to see it very clearly. I don't know though. Are you watching this on audio only mode? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I just finished playing Half-Life 1, and I'm like, this will kind of be perfect because the jam's 48 hours. I'm not gonna have a lot of time to make assets and stuff. What if I just theme it around that? So I made like low quality textures, low poly assets, and just kind of jammed them in. What I did first was I basically blocked out what I did first was I came up with an idea. Let me play the game so you can actually see what's going on here. So it's a first person game. You can move around. You start in this like little jail cell here. You kind of get a feeling of like the controls and stuff. You go over here. There's a vent that you have to crawl into. So you can go in here. And then you come out of the other side, and there's a platform you gotta jump on. So you gotta know, okay, this is like a sort of a platformer. You come over here, you gotta go up the stairwell. And then, oh, I fell off. You go in here, and you find this thing. You're like, what the heck is this? So you pick it up, and you can throw it, and you can adjust your aim with the scroll wheel. You throw it, and you teleport. So I had this idea, like as soon as I saw the page for the jam, I'm like, I have an idea for how I could use this teleport thing. And I could base it on like Minecraft, like Ender Pearl teleportation, where you have an Ender Pearl and you throw it and you teleport where it lands. So I'm like, this could be a really cool thing as like a sort of Half-Life themed thing, where maybe you're in this like research facility and they made a thing, this little capsule little thing that if you throw it, it teleports you, and you're in this like research facility and you were like kidnapped and you were being like tested on or whatever. So you're in like the basement holding cells and you're escaping using this little teleporter here, and you go through multiple levels. Basically platforming with this like teleporter thing, and it's a lot of fun to go through. So you come over here, the levels load in dynamically as you get to certain spots. So as you can see, the second level loaded in and the first level unloaded. As you can see, there's nothing there now. Yeah, and then you can, if you are jumping in the air and you throw it, then time slows down so that you can aim it better. That was why I was hoping, I had this idea before the prerequisite got announced, and I'm like, I really hope it's slow motion because I literally have this idea for it. It was like a community voted on thing from like a list, so it could have either been like, you know, your controls are locked to a grid, or like, I don't know, what else was there? Oh yeah, you could have like uncontrollable movement. But I'm glad it was slow motion because this thought immediately came into my mind. So yeah, you come over here. There's like a little harder version of the previous area. Let me see if I can get the shot. Oh, baby. Heck yeah, let's go. But yeah, I'm really proud with how it turned out. This looked a lot worse, I have to say. Before doing the things I did, I missed. That's great. This looked a lot worse. I tweaked some of the textures throughout the week, like I said, to make it look a little bit better. Slow-mo's just lag disguised as a feature. I mean, I don't know. Some people were able to, because once the jam ended, you had to, you didn't have to, it was encouraged that you play other people's games and vote on them based on how much you enjoyed it, how much it used like the theme and the prerequisite. And some people use slow motion to their advantage, and it worked out pretty well. I don't know how I would have been able to incorporate like uncontrollable movement with this kind of idea. So I'm like, I knew this game wouldn't win anyway. Oh, this part coming up here is pretty cool. So basically what you have to do is, there's this like little orb here, and if you throw the teleporter into it, the door opens, and notice how you don't have the teleporter anymore and it starts counting down. So the teleporter's just in this thing for this amount of time. And then when the time is up, 2, 1, it drops it and it teleports you to the spot. So that what that means is you have to throw it in there, then you go into this room, and then you have to do platforming without the teleporter in the amount of time it stays there, and then you have to flip a switch, and then there's no way back until you teleport back here. And then the next door's open, so you can go into the next area. Oh boy. That was, not intended. The throwable item bounces out around a lot before teleporting. I mean, I suppose. But then the problem becomes, like, how can you, like, plan for that, I guess? I don't know. But yeah, I think this got, this did get a pretty low ranking when I submitted it, but that was only because not a lot of people ranked it anyway. Mainly because most of the games were made in Unity, and Unity has a thing, I don't know if Unreal Engine has a thing where you can do this, but most of the games you could just play in the web browser on itch.io, as opposed to having to actually download it, and it's Unreal Engine, so this game has a pretty hefty download size, but it's all part of the process. Hey Mike, how you doing? Welcome to stream. I'm just showing off this game I made for a game jam. And yeah, I'm really proud with how it turned out. Let me open up the next level. There we go. Because there's some stuff that I did in here that I'm very proud of. So you have to go up here. In level 1, I had some like really cool lighting effects going on. but I will talk more about that once I actually get back there to show it. I just want to show off the game for the most part. So you have to throw it in there, then you have to jump across. I really like the fact that I was able to... So if you're just joining, this game is very inspired by the original Half-Life. So there's very low poly objects, low quality textures. You can see the hand is very crunchy holding the object. What's cool too is I was able to also roughly, it's not exactly the same, but I was able to roughly emulate the physics that the original Half-Life has. So for example, if I go into this room again, if you jump and then at the peak of your jump you hold crouch, you can get a little bit more height in your jump. Whereas if I were to do it normally, you just fall down, you hit the thing. And I wrote a little bit of text here because people might not know that that's a thing. We can go in here in the second room, just a little bit more platforming. I like how I was able to make these metallic looking platforms. I don't know. I think they look really cool. And then here, I was actually able to implement b-hopping in a way. Whereas if you jump constantly, you get a bit of a speed boost. Because the way the jumping works is, as you're jumping, you jump with an added boost in your velocity. So whichever direction you're moving when you jump, you get a boost forward in that direction a little bit. Whereas just by walking normally, it's just normal walking speed. A little bit of a lag spike there, but that's fine. Up here's a bit tricky. You have to try and get up there, right? But the stairwell is broken or whatever. So you have to think about how you want to get up there. And you come up with the idea that you can wall jump with the teleporter. So you throw the teleporter way up high at the wall, and then you turn around so you have enough height to get it up here, and then you throw it into the room. So that's one of the main ways I wanted to incorporate the slow motion, because it'll help you, especially in this next section coming up where you have to use it in a bit more of an advanced way. So you have to throw the teleporter at this piston looking thing, and then as you teleport up there, you have to throw it while in the air at a platform that's across from it that you couldn't see from around the corner. Then you have to do it in a bit more of an advanced way over here. Throw it, turn around, throw it at the platform. And then some platforms you can press E and then they'll rise up. So for that, you just basically, you have to jump through the window and then throw it as you're coming across the side of the platform there. So you just do that. So this next room kind of showcases that a little bit more. So you come in this room here, throw the teleport at the platform. This room's a bit more tricky because if you fail, I didn't actually implement a way to get back up if you fall. But yeah, so you have to jump around that corner and then do that. Then you can come up here. This part's probably gonna the hardest part in the entire run, or in the entire game. What you have to do is you have to throw the teleporter at the wall, turn around, throw it at the other wall, turn around again, and then throw it at the platform. So you have to do kind of a double wall jump there in order to get to this spot. But if you're able to pull it off, it's so satisfying to pull off. Then you can throw it up here, and then you have to throw it over there, because otherwise, as far as I know, you can't just, this won't reach if you just throw it over there. Well, this'll reach, but throwing at it the other way won't reach. So yeah, and then right here's another corner hop. And then one last platforming bit. Where you throw the teleport at the thing, and then you just platform over here, then you go over here. Then you throw the switch. And you just wait to get teleported back. When the timer runs out, there we go. And that's it. You did it. The winner is you. And then I basically just wrote about how I want to work more on this and make it look better, and eventually I might want to do more of these game jams, because this is a lot of fun to do. There's a room up here. So there's originally supposed to be 5 levels, but I had to cut one of the levels just because I was already submitting really late. If I can get up there. If I just do this. Okay, there we go. Yeah. This is the entrance to the 5th level, but it's blocked off because I had to cut it for time. But yeah. I am genuinely so happy with this game, especially because now I have more, like, not only do I have more confidence in being able to put games together that look decent and play decently well with pretty neat ideas, but also it kind of frees me from the thought that my main game, Light of the World, is like a serious priority that I just have to keep pushing at to like get out at a specific time, because I keep telling myself and I keep telling the stream that Light of the World is not a game that's I'm planning to have come out within the year or whatever. It's a game that I am admitting is probably going to take me at least like 10 years to finish. Because there's still just so much I have to learn about the, you know, Unreal Engine, about the game itself. It's a game of generally large scope, which you see any advice on, you know, game development forums and servers that are like, you really want your game to be small in scope, otherwise you're gonna fail and you're gonna crash and burn and it's gonna be all miserable and you're gonna be sad. But like, if you have all these flowing ideas for a passion project, I don't think it's a bad thing to want to start working on that. You just have to understand it's not gonna be a quick process. They really do say that a lot, which is absolutely true. If your goal is to get a game out there and get people playing it, you want it to be small in scope or reasonable to your skill level. Definitely low poly and rough, but the concept of ton of promise. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it's very inspired by the original Half-Life, and seeing as the game was made in a weekend, I did have to be not as generous with the details I put into how things looked. But after working on it for a little bit afterwards, I'd love to play it. I mean, I have... Hold on. Give me 1 second. Bam. There's the link to it on itch. The textures don't look as great in that as they do in this, because I haven't uploaded this version to itch. I uploaded the previous version with way worse looking textures, but it still plays the same. There's also a lot of bugs that I need to sort of iron out, like if the game lags even a little bit, it becomes a lot easier for you to clip out of bounds when you teleport. So when you throw the teleporter at a wall, you'll just sometimes spawn on the other end of the wall and just kind of fall out of the stage. But like, it's still, like, the idea is there. It's still a lot of fun to play. There's just like a lot of bugs that need ironing out. But yeah, this is a lot of fun to work on. And I want to do more game jams at some point. So yeah, let me talk about. If it makes me feel better, I could say that it could be it's speedrun tech. No, I did that intentionally. I'm gonna try it out soon. Heck yeah! Tell me what you think. But yeah, I want to talk about how I did this like sort of fake lighting I did here. So there's no actual lights in any of the scenes. I did basically all of the lighting in Blender. So what I did was I have the level open up here in Blender. This is just one giant model of the entire level. And what I did was I just placed a bunch of point lights in key areas of the level. And I just kind of went around with the camera and just sort of walked through seeing what areas needed to be lit and what areas looked better when they're darker and all that. Halfway through a difficult game about climbing run. I was playing that game a while ago. I got to the third sort of section, the like clockwork looking section with like the marble columns and all that. I gotta get back into playing that. That game's a lot of fun. But yeah, basically what I did was for the lighting, I just placed a bunch of point lights in the scene, and let's see, let me get this version of the level up. So if I go into rendered view, I hope this shows up well on stream. If I go into the camera view and I kind of just like walk around a little bit, well, this actually has the baked texture of the lighting on it, so I can just turn that off. But yeah, basically the lights would shine on the level, and then in the shading tab, I could go in, get a texture, and I could hit bake with bake type diffuse, and then I would bake the direct and indirect lighting using just like a white texture on the object. So what that ended up coming up with, let me see if I can pull it up here. Levels, textures, lighting. Here we go. That basically gave me this image. After a bit of tweaking I did in GIMP to make it a bit less noisy, I basically took this texture and put it on the object with a couple other materials. So if I load up the level material, so this is the level 1 material here. What I did too was I made a texture to basically mark out each zone. So I made this like black, white, and this red, green, and blue texture to be like which zone is what texture. And I have 2 versions of this because there are 6 textures in total per level. If there's a better way to do this, I'm sure there probably is, but this is the best idea I had. This is also probably not how they actually did it back in the day, but this is the best way I could come up with to be able to dynamically adjust each texture and, you know, do stuff like that. So in the material here, I have the 6 textures. Basically, it's brick, concrete, I believe this is tile. Yeah, this is the tile. This is the metal for like the vent and the, you know, metal rooms. This is the ceiling. And this 6 texture isn't connected to anything yet, but other levels in the game have a 6 texture. The first level doesn't though. But yeah, I basically hooked them all in and was like, all right, if the zone is red, it's a brick texture. If it's green, it's a concrete texture. If it's blue, it's a metal texture. Stuff like that. So without the lighting, I could go in and I think it's this. Oops. Did not mean to do that. This is just what it looks like without the lighting. So hooking up all the textures with the specific zones just gives you this basic idea of like, all right, we're just gonna put all the textures on the walls without any darkness or light or anything. Now to add lighting, what I did was I took this raw color and multiplied it by a value that's less than 1, so like 0.2 for example. So if I just plug this in here, it's the same, but now it's just dark all the way around the level. There's absolutely no lights at all. So I'm like, all right, I have a dark version of the level. I have a light version of the level, which is I basically take this value and add a value to it. So I plug this in there. So if I were to set this to like 0.5 maybe, I have this slightly brighter version of the level. Maybe if I make it like, well, yeah. In the actual material instance, I have it set up a different way, but it's fine. Then what I do is I take that dark version and that light version, and I interpolate it based on this lighting texture, this baked lighting texture that I made. So anywhere that it's black is the darker version, anywhere where it's white is the lighter version, and I can adjust the intensity of it here. So I apologize if that was like a long-winded explanation of the process. I'm just really proud of how I was able to do it, and I think it looks really cool. I wasn't able to do any of the lighting on the assets I put in, like into the level, but I think it's, I think it's fine. So like the platform and the stairs don't have any of that lighting on it, but it's like, it's whatever. So yeah, let's see, what do I want to do now? I suppose I could pull up, I don't want this stream to be too long because this is mostly a stream to kind of talk about what I wanted to do and what doing this game jam has basically taught me and what I want to focus on next. I'm thinking until I join another game jam, which I really want to, for as far as my main game goes, I think the next thing I want to focus on is more detail-oriented gameplay stuff. So like maybe interacting with your party members and incorporating gameplay like based specifically on them so that I can make levels that involve them. So for example, I have an idea for the unicorn character can maybe like the hover boots in Ocarina of Time, maybe she can like walk a little bit slightly off of the edge before she falls. So I could use that in more like platforming based things, and I can come up with ideas based on that. So I'm thinking that could be kind of fun to try and incorporate. But other than that, I don't really have much else to talk about when it comes to this game specifically. How long have I been going on for? 45 minutes. I am kind of tempted to end stream here, even if it is kind of a shorter stream. I can't really think of platformers with quad. I mean, like, it's an idea that I want to try, and we'll see how it goes. The point is, now that I know more about world design and level design, I could focus on the more detail-oriented gameplay stuff. And another thing this jam has kind of taught me too is like, I'm getting more excited to work on more gameplay stuff now, because like I had all these like 10,000 ideas for what I wanted to do regarding like world and level design, that like not level design. I didn't want to make any like gameplay related level stuff when I didn't have gameplay to suit it, which is why I mostly wanted the worlds I made to be like generally like hub worlds or like villages or like a suburb for Jimmy's world and stuff like that. Nothing that really involves any specific type of gameplay. I did have some ideas for gameplay stuff as I was making the worlds that I might incorporate later, just kind of to give it a try and see how I feel. But now, after putting my skills to use in making a game like this, I'm actually feeling a lot more excited to work on more gameplay stuff relating to my game. So more progress is going to be made is the point. I honestly don't know when I'm going to be streaming next. If I do sort of rebuild a streaming schedule, I want to stream more on Saturdays, because I don't have to really worry as much about like work and stuff like that. I feel like I have more time during the day to basically go for longer, and I could go to bed earlier the previous day to wake up earlier to maybe start stream earlier. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still experimenting with stuff. The point is, I'm really excited about this this game that I made, and I wanted to show it off, and I wanted to kind of talk about where I want to go from here, because I haven't streamed in a while. I'm still just sort of figuring stuff out. Maybe I'll have more streams where I don't do game dev stuff. Like, I just bought recently Stardew Valley. I've never played it before. I played through like the opening cutscene, and I had to leave it there because I had to go to work. But maybe I could do some like Stardew Valley streams if that sounds like fun to anyone. But yeah, honestly, I also bought it the other day. I mainly bought it because they were talking a lot about how they were working on like I think it was like the 1.6 update. There's like this big new crazy update that came out, and I always kind of looked at it and I was always kind of like, I kind of want to try playing that at some point because it looks very like fun and chill. But yeah, I finally just bought it. I'm like, I don't know, that could be fun. But yeah, I honestly might just end stream here because I don't really have much else to talk about. I'm just very excited about a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I honestly don't know when I'm gonna stream next. But the next time I do stream will be more gameplay focused stuff for the main game. If I don't decide to do like a Stardew Valley stream or like a, I don't know, some other game stream maybe. I also need to get a new mic because I've been using Cole's mic for my streams basically the entire time, and he needs it for an event he's going to. I'm just using the lavalier mic that we usually use for Kingdom Hearts, but it doesn't really connect well with my computer, and I had to like fiddle with a bunch of stuff to get it to work. So I want to get a more consistent like mic setup. So that might take some time to put together. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and whenever I stream next, I will see you then. Not Mr. Snakeman revoking mic privileges, I know. It's a sad world we live in. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, on Cole's channel, Cole's Corner, twitch.tv/Cole's Corner, Cole and I are going to be playing Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I am fascinated by the Kingdom Hearts series. Cole hates them with a passion. So, have some fun with that. Anyway, he's knocking on my door now, so I better end stream here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next stream. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.